What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to you out with that Greg Monroe. I just got the text from people telling me that Greg Monroe was signed a 1 year, $5 million deal with my Celtics. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. And it's fun that we end up getting Kyrie. We were supposed to get Jimmy Butler. We was in a sweepstakes for Paul George. And obviously we ended up getting Gordon Hayward, which is one of the top small forwards in the world at that point. And then we was able to get Kyrie Irving on top of that. Danny Ainge was piling assets after assets after assets and tradable players. And then he was getting them on good contracts. It was good to see him make a move because I feel like Brad Stevens is a championship head coach. He just never had a championship roster. And I feel like Danny Ainge is finally starting to turn and put the roster together the way that Brad Stevens wants it to be, in the way he wants it to be played and how he wants his personnel. I think they have a good relationship right now because I feel like Gordon Hayward and Al Horford is like the perfect fit for a team like Boston that likes to be positionalist. They can set screens. They're great passers at their position. Plus, you add in another player that can create his own shot anytime in Kyrie Irving. Not really a pass first player. He's more of a scorer, but you still need as many weapons as you have. And at the point guard position, most of the players at the point guard position are shooters and scorers, and they have one of those at that position in Kyrie Irving. We're going to talk about Greg Monroe. Obviously, this is an excellent pickup. I cannot say enough about that. Y'all seen the Milwaukee video when Greg Monroe got the contract to go to Milwaukee. Um, this year he played 20 games and he only started 14 of them. He's shooting 62% from the field, which is a career high for Greg Monroe. He's shooting 67% from the free throw line. He's given 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and he's averaging 11 points a game. But I want to put that in context because those numbers don't really speak of the season that he has been having, because he came off the bench in October averaging 6.8 points, and he steadily had stayed scoring 11 for every month. So he's coming in, giving you production, he's giving you scoring, he's passing out of the post, he's setting good screens that, Aaron Baines and Al Horford are our bigs. It's good to have another skilled big man. Not only is he skilled, he can get and create his own shot, but he's unselfish and he can see the floor. Obviously, you can't tell because he's only averaging 2.5 assists, which is a lot considering that he comes off the bench. And you have a guy of his caliber coming off the bench for $5 million. You're not going to be able to find a player that can give you the production like Greg Monroe at $5 million, especially since he was getting paid way more than that when he signed the contract with Milwaukee. And now that he got bought out, Danny Ainge has always showed interest in Greg Monroe. You go back to the Detroit days, he wanted to trade for Greg Monroe. He wanted to sign him to a contract years ago. It was a lot of rumors about that. I don't know if it's true, but Danny Ainge has always showed interest, especially in the rumors of acquiring Greg Monroe. So soon as I found out that Greg Monroe got bought out by the Phoenix Suns, I knew right then and there that the Celtics would be in play to make a move for him. And they actually offered him a lot of money. $5 million is a lot for a guy that got bought out. Usually they get around $2 to $3 million depending on what teams they go to and what teams they prefer. $5 million is the minimum at this point. So he got the max he could get, plus he got bought out. So you're going to get a guy that's a veteran. He's going to give you good locker room presence. He's going to give you toughness. He's not the greatest defender, not the greatest help defender, especially for that power forward center position. But like I said, he is multi-skilled. He is versatile. Can he give you the stretch like Al Horford can? No, he's not a stretch 4. He's not a stretch 5. But he can still punish switches. If you switch, which everybody is starting to do, Greg Monroe give you a big body that can always get the ball in the post and get you a good shot at the rim. The guy is shooting 60% from the field for a reason. And on top of that, you got to give the Dwayne Wade factor. And what I mean by him, you have a player that still can play. At this point, Greg Monroe is young, and he still is dominating coming off the bench, giving you 11 and 7 off the bench, and he's only 27 years old at that. And what I mean by that is he's going to play against lower players. Bench players are not the same as a starter. That's common sense. And with that being said, that's an excellent thing when you have a guy that's already giving you almost a double double off the bench. Um, Almost every night or close to it. You get a guy that can get rebounds against weaker lineups. He can post up against smaller defenders. He's better than most bench players in the league because he should be a starter, but he just doesn't fit the modern NBA. But the fact that he can score, the same thing I said about Jahlil Okafor was, if the guy can score, the guy can score. He might be a defensive liability depending on what team you go against and what players that they have, but he's still finding a way to eat regardless of who's on the floor. He's getting valuable minutes and he's giving you quality in those minutes. And I think Brad Stevens, a guy that is an excellent with X and O's, timeout plays, and just running good schemes offensively, he's going to find a way to maximize the ability of Greg Monroe and keep him involved in the offense. They might even run the offense through him from the on the bench because you do have guys like Marcus Smart, like Terry Rozier, and they leave some of the starters in, and it's good to have an option that if anything happens, you still have a guy that you can throw the ball down in the post or near that 15-foot in range and get you a shot. Not only that, you also got to give Greg Monroe credit that even if they lose Al Horford or Aaron Baines, you have another big body that actually can do something besides be tall, long, and rebound. He's tall and he's long and he can rebound, but he also can score the basketball and create for other players, which is multi-skilled, especially for the center position. You don't really see that often. But Greg Monroe, for him to be 27, he's already a journeyman. He been to Phoenix, he been to Milwaukee, he been to Detroit. Celtics will be another team. He's starting to get phased out because his game isn't predicated to what we see today. So you see his value is not as high as it should be at the age that he is. I wonder, will Greg Monroe honestly be a free agent that can sign a long-term deal in the future, even though he has the age that you will want a guy that you can build around? At this point, he's 6'11", 265. He's a big body, and he's been in the league for 8 years. This is his 8th season, and by the end of this season, he still will be 27. But going into next year, he'll only be 28. And I wonder, will teams give him a long-term contract, considering that he's only 28 years old and he's still productive, or will they just give him the 1 or 2 year deals like they've been doing other players? Because if I was Greg Monroe, I would like to get a long-term contract, obviously. And even if the Bucks kind of messed them up, now coaches are starting to see that how useful Greg Monroe can be off the bench. Would that hurt his career? Because now players and teams gonna look at him as a bench player, especially when they go into meetings to make a deal for him. They're gonna look at him as like, you did good off the bench for the Bucks. You did good off the bench for the Suns. And we look at you as a guy that can anchor our bench offensively and give us good production. Because you got to think about it. In his second year with the Bucks, he averaged 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1.1 steals a game off the bench. So, the Bucks, that could just hurt his career, as now people going to look at him as a bench player when some people might think he a starter. You always going to have that in the back of the mind, what he can do off the bench. So we'll see what he does. If he going to add to his game, is he going to change? Is he going to try to extend his range? Is he going to stick to his bread and butter because he is an excellent post player? So, as long as you have a certain skill set, he can rebound. He's a big body for screens, and he can score the basketball and pass. So let me know what you guys think about Greg Monroe. Do you think this is a good pickup? Like I said, there's another big body for the Celtics. It's another guy that can post up and add offense and set good screens for you. It's a guy that you're not paying that much money. You're not committed to long term, and you're just basically trying him out. If it works, maybe you give him an extension. If it doesn't work, you just let him go in free agency. And let him go do this thing, and you get your $5 million to use on somebody else next year. Also, do you think this was wrong for Phoenix? Hey, You know, he's a professional. He's a guy that can score. He can help Alex Lynn. He can help Dragon Bender. He can help Marquise Chris with that inside game. And they should have kept him on the roster. You think this is a good move? Buy him out and try to get somebody younger with the roster space to try out. And that's what the Suns could do. I feel like this is a win-win for both teams because worst case scenario, you know, you just get another player that's off the G League or another player you can trade for because you have the cap and just use that, honestly, on another young prospect or at least try to get a draft pick. Obviously, you would prefer to trade Greg Monroe than buy him out. But, you know, like I said, his value is not as high as it was when he was a free agent 4 years ago. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my website at analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description and in the comment section below. Also, check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description in the comment section below. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about Greg Monroe. And also, I'm gone.